Get ready for your daily dose of WordPress and web development tips, tricks, and insights to help you find success with WordPress. You're listening to WP the Podcast with your hosts, David Blackman and Tim Streifler.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of WP the Podcast, brought to you by WP Gears. I'm David Blackman.
And I'm Tim Streifler.
Today in episode 644, we're going to talk about the tools you need for high-quality virtual meetings. Yesterday, Tim and I tackled the topic of how to have an effective virtual client meeting. If you haven't listened to that, go take a listen to it. Today, we're going to talk about the tools that we use and the ones that we recommend. And number one, to start off, is video conferencing software. You know, there's lots of options out there, and they're all good. It just depends on what meets your budgets and your needs best. We use Zoom. You can use Google Meet. Google Meet's free. Zoom has a free option, but it's got a time limit. You can do a Zoom call for an X number of time. I believe it's like 40 minutes, and then it's going to cut off. So if you have meetings that could potentially go longer than 40 minutes, and when you're meeting with clients, those meetings are really important, and sometimes those clients can get long-winded or vice versa. You could go longer than 40 minutes, so be aware of that. You know, the software platform that you're using, a la Zoom, Google Meet, Skype, those are the three that are probably the most common and that we recommend. Just be aware of that. Google Meet's free. It doesn't have any time limits. You can stay on there forever if you want to. And Skype is as well, but Zoom does have a time limit. So
Yeah, and another one is GoToMeeting. GoToMeeting used to kind of be all the rage. Came well before Zoom, but Zoom, in my opinion, and trust David and I, we've used everything. Zoom is the best quality and the best stability, hands down, compared to everything else. So that's top of the list for sure. The next thing that you need for high quality virtual meetings, and again, as David mentioned, this is high quality. So if you're starting to do more of this and you want to up the quality, that's the things on this list. You don't necessarily have to do this just to have virtual meetings, right? This is if you want to have high quality virtual meetings. So the next thing on the list is a good quality camera. So for example, David and I use Sony mirrorless cameras. So mirrorless and DSLR are two different professional camera technologies. DSLR have mirrors, and mirrorless are kind of a newer thing, and that they don't have mirrors in the same way, but they're both very high quality professional level cameras. David and I both use Sony's, as I mentioned. I use the A6400. David has the A6500, and I think David's planning on getting the A6400 as well. And then I also have a Canon M50. But all great cameras. And if you buy the camera, you're typically going to want to buy a lens as well. So David and I both use the Sigma lens. Is
16
millimeter? Okay. Yeah, I'm terrible with lens.
Yeah, I think it's the 16 millimeter. Yeah.
Okay, 16 millimeter Sigma lens is a great one, and so we highly recommend that.
And speaking of cameras, obviously your camera can shoot very high quality video. Ours, for example, will shoot 4K video. Well, it's not your computers that your camera could be plugged into, your webcams and whatnot. Can't really record in those, so you're going to need something to capture that. So we use Cam Link, which is a capture card. I'm sure there's some other options out there, but Elgato Cam Link is a pretty well-known, easy to use, works with just about any camera. You hook it up with an HDMI cord and you can plug it right into your computer, and it will turn any really nice camera like the Sony A6400, A6500, or the Canons, or any of the other ones, Panasonic, whatever, into a webcam. So we also have the Logitech HD 1080p camera, but there aren't any 4K ones. So they just haven't made them yet. And this HD camera that Tim and I have had for years with a Logitech is actually the best one that's out there. But it's just not super high quality. We want the bokeh effect in the background, the blurred background. We want us to really, looking really good on camera and stuff. And this capture card's going to allow you to do that. So get that.
Yeah. There's no webcams that can get you the quality that you can get with a professional level camera that you use a Cam Link or capture card with. And so that's the route you have to go if you want to have really high quality video for virtual meetings and streaming and stuff. The next thing is you're going to need basically a power pack or dummy battery for your camera. And so David and I, we're using our high quality cameras that we're telling you about right now. And so we've been recording now for I don't know, close to an hour or whatnot. And so you don't want to be constantly having to change the batteries. You want to be able to plug it in and have it just stay on for an unlimited amount of time. And so you can basically get a power pack that plugs into an outlet, and it's essentially like a dummy battery that goes into your battery port, and it basically allows the electricity to transfer into your camera without having to constantly be switching battery packs.
And you may be asking, why not just plug my camera in directly to the wall? Unfortunately, a lot of these cameras don't allow you to do that. They still will shut off after a period of time. And that is why these dummy batteries or power pack batteries for these cameras are important, because they will, even if you have it plugged in, for some reason, it doesn't work that way. And blows my mind. Sony, fix that, so that we don't have to buy a dang extra dummy battery. So
yeah, which they're cheap. They're like what, $20?
Yeah, they're pretty cheap. So it's not a huge deal, but kind of a pain. It seems like it would be just built right into the camera, because I can plug mine into the wall. However, it's still going to shut off after about 45 minutes. So next on our list, which is very important for high quality virtual meetings, is good lighting. Tim and I talked about lighting yesterday, probably the most. It's really, really important. Obviously, you don't want just the lights from your room, above lights, or just a window only to depend on lighting. We actually have purchased some professional lighting that mounts to our desks that goes from, I forget the scales of lighting, because Tim and I aren't photo or video experts. I think it's Kelvin. It's how you measure light temperature from like the cool to the warm, and it kind of gives that natural or outdoor or indoor or those types of lights where you can manage the Kelvin is going to allow you to adjust the lighting and stuff, and how you position the lighting, where it shines from. All of that stuff is really, really important. So you're going to somewhat need to educate yourself on good lighting and stuff. And it's pretty easy. Just use common sense. You can see yourself. You know what looks good, what doesn't look good, when you have shadows, when things are kind of out of focus and stuff. So good lighting is really important, and it's pretty inexpensive to get some good lights as well.
Yeah, and David and I, we have the same lighting that we got on Amazon that mount directly to your desk. And so we don't have to set anything up. We don't have any stands that are getting in the way of anything. They just mount to the desk, and they're made for what we're doing, to shine directly on you as you're doing videos and video calls and streaming or live video calls. Yeah. So that's lighting's important. The last thing, but definitely not the least, is a good microphone. I'd venture to say, if you're not going to do any of the other things on this list, you should at least get a good microphone, because that will automatically make your virtual meetings so much better quality by having a good microphone. And so you can start relatively inexpensive. For example, the Blue Yeti, that's probably the first thing that I did to really upgrade the quality of videos and stuff that I was doing, was I bought the Blue Yeti microphone. I think it's about $100, somewhere in there. Get it on Amazon or Best Buy or any store that sells electronics. It's a pretty popular microphone. It's a USB mic, so it'll plug directly into your computer. No additional hardware or software needed. And it's going to drastically improve your quality over the microphone that's built into your computer or the microphone that comes with your headphones. So that's a great place to start. However, if you want to take it a step further, two microphones that I highly recommend and are really popular in the kind of the podcasting world. The ones that David and I have is the Rode Procaster. So the Rode Procaster is a professional level podcasting dynamic microphone, and it works really, really well. And then the second one that's also really popular, I haven't personally used it, but it's one that you've probably seen a million times in different videos, is the Shure SM58. I think I said that right. The Shure SM58. That's another really popular one, and it's very similar, very comparable to the Rode Procaster. It's actually quite a bit more money, though, and so the Rode Procaster is awesome, and I don't think the Shure is any better quality. I think it's just slightly different sound depending on preference. But both of those are neither of them are USB microphones. So if you buy the Rode Procaster or the Shure SM58, you're going to need a audio interface, because it's a traditional microphone like you see on stage, and it uses an XLR cable, which is a traditional microphone cable. And so you plug that into the audio interface, and then the audio interface connects via USB to your computer. And so you need that in order to use the microphone with virtual meetings, as well as live streaming or creating videos and stuff. So the interface that David and I use, that's probably the most popular one, is the Scarlett Focusrite. I think Scarlett's the brand, Focusrite's the product, right, David?
It is. Yeah, that's correct.
And so it works really well. And it's a little built-in mixer too, so you can have two microphones and then control the input separately. So very simple, very easy to use, and it's going to give you amazing quality like you're hearing right now. That's what David and I are using.
I'm so glad you tackled microphone, Tim. There is so much that goes into just the microphone alone that it's, as you can tell, depending on the route you go. If you're brand new, go start with the Blue Yeti. It's a great microphone. You can even use lapel mics that plug directly into your camera, directly into your computer, depending on your setup and stuff and what you're going to do. So microphone, there's lots of options. Do some research. Check it out. We can maybe even link a list of all of the equipment that we use in our this podcast episode on our website, wpgears.com, episode 644, and we'll link Amazon to it as well, and you can go check them out. May or may not be affiliate links. I'm going to be transparent. Tim and I don't typically do Amazon affiliate links, so I don't even know if we're set up for that, but who knows? We might be. And guess what? It doesn't cost you any more money to click on that link if you're going to buy it anyway. So just going to throw that out there. We've got another great topic tomorrow. Tim, until tomorrow, we'll see you then.
Take care. Bye-bye.
We've come to the end of today's episode of WP the Podcast. Join us tomorrow for more daily tips and strategies designed to help you run your WordPress business toward success. Remember to subscribe to WP the Podcast so you can stay up to date with each episode. And don't forget to rate and review us. We'll see you again tomorrow right here on WP the Podcast.